Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my February TBR, but I'm also going to incorporate the one book that I read in January since I didn't do a January reading wrap up. I will say I'm sorry that this is late. I really was trying to get this out by Sunday, but the video I recorded for this already, like, I don't even know what happened. It's just like I went to edit it and it like was not like right. Something was wrong. I don't know. So I'm really hoping that this one's fine. I finally have time to sit down and film again. I will try to get this edited like the same day I film this so that it can be up as soon as possible. But that's today's video. So I read one book in January and I read 6 books in February. Guys, I read 6 books. Like, can we give myself a round of applause for that? Like, I was in such a bad reading slump in January and here I am now just like thriving. I won't lie, I did listen to audiobooks this month, so that also helped me be able to get more books in, but I still count those as books I read. If I comprehended the material in the book, I know what's happening in the story. It's the same thing. Like, because I know some people like to be like, well, if you listen to it, you didn't read it. Well, this is my channel and I count it, so but that's today's video. Let's get into that. Okay, so the first book is the one book that I read in January, and that is Running Back to You by Emily McIntyre. So this is actually a book that you can't like buy at a bookstore. Like, you can't go to Barnes & Noble and get it. She like will put it on sale on her website every once in a while. So it's not actually like even on Goodreads, so I had to put like another book that I've read before that was like similar like rating and similar like page number as the book I read. So it's like it is a book, but it's not like a real book that like you can just go out and buy. But I did get it and it was really like, it's a very special thing that I have. It's signed by her too, and I love it. It was a cute little like novella-y type book. I rated it 4 stars. With novellas, I'm not really like picky. They're, 50 pages. It's like I'm not gonna give a whole like, well, I wish that there was more of that. And it's like, well, there was 50 pages. What were you expecting? It was a good read. I had a good time. There was some sad stuff too, but it was overall, it was good. It was the only book that I read though, and it's kind of upsetting that a 50-page book was all I was able to read in January, but it happens. Reading slumps, unfortunately, are real things, and it happened to me at the beginning of the year, so hopefully it won't happen again until much later in the year, because let's be real, it will happen again. But that is the one book that I read in January. Okay, so the first book that I read in February is actually a book that I started in December but did not finish until February, because, again, reading slump. I started it towards the end of December and then was busy with Christmas and holidays and traveling and all of that, so I didn't read a whole lot at the end of December, and then, like I said, reading slump. So that is Fuel the Fire by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the 8th. I think it's the 8th book in the series, so I have 2 more left, Long Way Down and Some Kind of Perfect. Super excited. Without a doubt, those will be finished probably before the summer starts, but definitely by the end of the year for sure. I love this series. It's so nice to be able to come back to like these characters and like the world that they're in, and it's just, it feels homey, and like, I don't know, I just love being able to like read basically their lives. Like, it's not just like, oh, well, I read 300 pages of these 2 random characters that I never knew anything else about. It's like I read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of these characters and their lives, and like it kind of makes you feel like you personally know them, even though obviously they're not real. But I rated this one a 4.25. I feel like, I don't know, there was something missing for me in it that was gonna make it a 4.5. It was still very good. I still really enjoyed it, and I don't know if the rating is slightly because I did have a reading slump in between when I started it and when I finished it, but I kind of wish that there was something, I can't really explain why I wanted it to be different because like it would be spoilers, but there was something that kind of happens in the middle-ish end of the book that I kind of wish would have been different, but that's okay. I still love Rose and Connor. They're still one of my favorite couples. I am not going to give a full, like, oh, this couple, then this couple, and this couple as my favorites until I finish the series, because I can't just base it when I haven't finished all the books yet. But I do love them so much, and, I also love Jane. If you've read the books, you know what that means. But I'm not going to say anything else because, again, I'm not spoiling. But that is the first book that I finished in February. Okay, then the next book I read was Saving Six by Chloe Walsh, and guys, if you watched any of my videos, you've probably already seen me talk about it. Literally was obsessed. I read that book so quickly. I literally think I read it in like 4 days. 5 stars, 100%. Like, was so amazing. Joey and Aoife, which I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce her name, is Aoife. Literally, like, we all thought that Binding and Keeping 13 were my favorite, and I still love them, don't get me wrong. But I low-key think I have to bump those down to like 4.5s after this, because these books were 5 stars. Like, I was eating it up. I was like thinking about them all the time. I was like, I just want to keep coming back and reading more about them, and it was so good, and I literally cannot describe how much I love them. Their story was soul crushing, as I knew it was gonna be, but it was like also amazing to read, and I'm so mad that I waited so long to read it. If you watched my one video that I posted, I think like 2 weeks ago, I did like a song to book / book to song recommendation video, and I had a bunch of songs for Joey and Aoife, specifically with like Saving Six and Redeeming Six, and I literally, like, every day I find a new song that I'm like, oh, that's them. Like, they just fit so much, and I love it. It was so good. Like I said, I do think I have to bump down Binding and Keeping 13 to like a 4.75 or a 4.5. I'm not gonna do like a whole like actual like this is me bumping it down, re-rating it until I reread them, because like I don't want to just say a 4.75 or a 4.5 when I haven't like reread them. But they definitely weren't as good as Saving Six and Redeeming Six. I will say that. I love them in their own way, but there was something about Saving Six and Redeeming Six, which I will get to Redeeming Six soon, that just like really was like amazing. I can't even really describe it. It was just great, and I loved it, and I just, again, it was sad, but in like, I don't want to say an amazing way because that sounds so bad, but like, I don't know, I just really enjoyed reading these books. Okay, then after I read Saving Six, I was, you know, depressed because of how sad that book was. And I just wanted like a change kind of in my mood, and so I picked up Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by, I think you pronounce it Joa Goffey. I'm not 100% sure on the author's pronunciation, but I really was excited to read this because I have had this book on my TBR for like a year, and I finally got it like January, I think, maybe December, I don't know. I got it in the last like 2 or 3 months, and I was really excited to read it, and it's just like, it seemed like it was going to be a cute and easy read to just kind of like branch my depressing read to my next depressing read, which I will get to. And I don't know, I loved it. It was really super cute. I rated it at 4.5 stars. Kind of wish I would have read it sooner, just like Saving Six. I'm like, girl, why did you push this off? You should have bought this earlier. I definitely think I'm gonna check out more books by this author. I don't know what other books she has, but I loved this. I ate this up. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes to see if I missed anything. Oh yeah, no, there was something that happened. Guys, I was so mad at myself. How many romance books have I read in my life? And how did I miss the, like, duh trope? Like, I'm not gonna tell you because, like, I don't want to spoil it, but there's, like, a trope, like, these two characters, their trope. I, like, missed it. Like, not the main thing, but, like, a slightly, like, smaller thing. I'm like, Paige, how did you not see that coming? Like, I generally was disappointed in myself that I didn't see it coming. But, anyways, I still loved the characters. Quinn and Carter are the two main characters, and basically Quinn gets her journal kind of taken and exposed, and Carter is helping her find that person. And I liked, obviously there is representation in here of African American people, which I also really enjoyed because I feel like a lot of the books I read are predominantly white characters. But I also it was interesting to read a book from that perspective because there were certain struggles that these characters went through that, like, I as a white person have never had to go through, or like I know about, but I didn't I didn't know as much about, and like kind of learned a little bit from this book. So I don't know, it felt like a really good read, and like I said, I really want to read more by this author because I loved her writing, and like I said, it was easy. Like, I didn't feel like I was like, I don't understand what's going on, or like, wow, this is like some really like deep stuff. Like, it was just nice to be able to read something and enjoy it and not have to do a whole lot of thinking with it. But I rated this, like I said, a 4.5 stars. I loved it. It was great. I definitely would recommend if you are looking for a more easy to read book. I would say like smut's kind of there, but like it's definitely not the smuttiest book I've ever read. But definitely love these two characters. And this book, it was just great. So Okay, the next book that I finished was, actually this is one I read on Audible. So this was Ruthless Fae. So this is the second book in the Zodiac Academy series. I read the first one I think like 2 years ago on Audible, and I really didn't like it. I think I rated it like a 3 stars. It was like okay, like I could see potential, but like I really didn't like the first one. I was like, I don't know, it's not giving what I want it to give. But I was like, well, I have Audible again, and I was like, reading these books, like the Audible books will help me read more books in the month. And I was like, I don't know, I feel like I like to listen to fantasy more than I like to listen to romance. I feel like it just like I don't know, that's just personally how I am. And even though this is like a romantasy, it does have romance in it, it also has fantasy in it. And so I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try, why not? Well, it was a good thing I gave it a try, because the second book was so much better than the first book. Like, if you've read the first book of this series and you were like, you know, maybe not for me, I would say try the second one and see, because I definitely liked the second one. Like, literally I rated the second one 4 stars. Like, it was so much better. I actually like enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed the plot line. The romances that are like hinted, I cannot wait to see where those go. I like, again, I can't really say a whole lot because I can't spoil stuff, but really, really good. It's very annoying how some of the characters are very oblivious to things, but that's okay, because I feel like that's just kind of how you have to write characters sometimes with these series. But that was the 4th? Was that my 4th or was that my 5th? Let's see, now I just don't even remember. Yeah, okay, that was my 4th book that I read in February. And like I said, these aren't necessarily in order of like, oh, I picked this book up, finished it, then I picked this book up and finished it. I read some books kind of like at the same time, or like listened and read a book at the same time. So it might make more sense after I've shown all the books where you're like, okay, I see. But generally the order I read them in. And then the 5th book that I read in February was Redeeming Six by Chloe Walsh, which I rated a 5 stars as well. I'm not saying that I didn't like Redeeming Six. I think I liked Saving Six a little bit more, because there were certain parts of Redeeming Six that I feel like we could have taken out. Like, it didn't need to be there, especially because the book's already extremely long. But overall, I did enjoy it. Like, I still enjoyed it enough to give it a 5 stars. It was still, like, it will always hold a special place in my heart. They are 2 of the strongest characters I know, like, in book series, and, like, again, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, there's just something about them that really just, like, broke my heart, but, like, in a good way. And I really can't wait to hopefully see more of them in Taming Seven, which is the 5th book in the series. I know I won't probably see, like, a ton of them, but I hope I see a little bit of them. And again, really mad that I waited so long to read these 2 books, because they are amazing. I definitely recommend them. But again, search up trigger warnings for Saving Six and Redeeming Six, because there are definitely triggering topics that are discussed in these books. Okay, so the last book that I read in February was The Reckoning, which is the 3rd book in the Zodiac Academy series, and I rated that a 4.25 stars. So again, it was better than the second one. Like, they generally are getting better as I read, which I like. I mean, obviously I feel like at some point it's not gonna like get better, they're just gonna stay as good. But I definitely would say, like, if you liked even something about the first book, try the second one and see, because I just think the first one was just so much world building that it was just kind of boring. Like, you gotta kind of give it a chance. But again, can't share a whole lot because I can't spoil things that happen in the other books. But the 2 characters, if you've read the series, that are like together at this point, love them. I think it's great. The other 2 who aren't together but maybe want to be together but won't admit it, I need that to happen. And then, like, it did happen at some point, but yeah. Let me tell you, the slow burn of 2 of these characters, oh my goodness. I'm like, guys, y'all are being so oblivious to the whole fact that you 2 want each other. It's not that hard. Just, like, get it together. It really isn't that hard. That's the only thing that's annoying me about it, but I feel like that's just kind of the point of them, so I'm trying not to, like, let it affect my ratings. But it is hard when it's like every single time I finally am like, oh, something good is gonna happen, it's just like, and there they go, blowing it all up again. So I don't know, that's kind of annoying, but again, I get it. That doesn't mean it still can't annoy me. But those were all the books that I read in February. Okay, so like I said, I read 1 book in January, and then I read 6 books in February, so total of 7 books so far, between those 2 months, not counting March. I've already finished books, so but I definitely caught back up to my reading goal, which was nice. I was like 3 books behind at one point, and I was like, girl, it is January. But I really had a great reading month in February. I really hope March is just as good, if not better. I would recommend any of the books that I talked about. I think they were all really good. Obviously, the Emily McIntyre book, unless you have it, you can't read it. But all the other books I would 100% recommend. They were all, like, either fun reads, emotionally, like, important reads. Like, emotionally important to me. I guess they may not be to you, but to me they were. Fun reads, like, did I already say fun? You know, this happens towards the ends of my videos. I always kind of lose my mind, and I'm like, did you already say that? I think you might have. But anyways, I'm proud of myself for reading how much I did, especially with all the schoolwork I had going on. Hopefully, because my spring break is coming up, I will get to read some more books then, which means hopefully I'll still have a quite large reading wrap up for March. But also, like, wouldn't be surprised if I low-key just stopped reading over spring break because I was doing a bunch of other things that I don't usually get to do. But my goal is to read about 5 or 6 again in March, as I did in February. But yeah, that was today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you know, like, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to see more videos about any of these books, you can comment those down below, or if you have specific videos you want to see, like, oh, I want you to recommend these types of books or whatever, again, you can comment those down below. I'm always happy to make those for you. I want to post stuff that you guys actually want to watch, not just stuff that I want to film. But I really do hope that I can get a video or 2 out over spring break. I'm not gonna say what yet in case I can't live up to those plans, but I do have plans for at least one specific video I want to film that's not like a reading wrap-up TBR thing. There will likely be a book haul because your girl has an issue. Was I supposed to be on a buying van? Yes, I was supposed to be on a book buying van. Was I supposed to, you know, keep that until like May? Mm-hmm. Did I? No. Do I have a problem? Yeah, but like, it could be worse. I could be spending it on things that like are so much worse for me. So I feel like we have to look at it in that way. Some of them were also pre-orders from like last year that came out this year, so not all of it was spent like at once. But there will definitely be a book haul, I'm pretty sure. It will just depend on if my other video that I want to film gets filmed or not. And I'm not going to tell you in case it doesn't, but I'm sure you guys will like it if it does. And if it doesn't, it eventually will. It just might not be until after I finish the semester. But it's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. I hope you guys are having a great day. And yeah, bye!